Hello developers, today we are going to see about this simple to-do app for the adding and removing functionality, and we can just remove by swiping into cool animational functionalities. So this is a simple basic tutorial. Let's dive into it. For begin this UI part, let's create a new project with the name to-do, and I just write the code here. Let me remove the existing functionalities code. So I just create some new composable name main screen. So here this main screen contains that list widgets and the top bar. So for this I am going to use a column with a box. It contains the text of the title. So I just give them title like to do app like that. And I'm just going to use preview for side-by-side live preview. Here I am going to use some gradient color for a better view of this box. So I'm just using brush dot linear gradient. We need to pass a list of colors. So I just use color of 0x FF for 100%, 9C2 CF3. A kind of a purple color. So just import this, and the color 0x FF 3A4 9F9. It's a kind of a dark blue color. So this gradient will look good. So I'm just going to use modifier dot height of, let me say, 150 dp and width of full max width. Just import this dps density pixels, and we can give some padding of top light will be 40 dp start. That 100 will give here.
It's 5:45.
Modifier not fill max size for the max entire screen, and just we give the padding of 20 dp elsewhere. So let me read the project. It's just building the preview for us. Cool, right? I mean, I need to give this background here, linear gradient. Okay, only the padding here. Here after this I'm going to use padding. That's fine, right? And what else? We can give some color like white. For this I'm just giving the modifier. It's a default second parameter. Font weight something like 600 for a bold text. Color dot white, and let me use some size of 32 sp. Font size must be in sp formats. This give full max width, and just text align to center. Just make the text align to center as this way. Fine. What else? I'm just diving into the title. So let me add the title as copy this text, and black title as your tasks. So between this your task there will be some field for adding this text fields, right? So for that I'm going to use a row of the text field and the icon button for sending the data, adding the data. So icon button. Okay, so icon button has a default parameter of on click, and text field has two default parameters of text on value change. Okay, For this I am going to use icon button of icons, icon of icons, default, send, content description null, and here I am going to use a modifier. I am going to use this color with the circle shape, right? And I give a tint modifier as a default parameter, tint color dot white. It looks better. And to avoid this messy background, for this we need to use two default parameters for color. So colors, text field default, colors, we need to use four things: focused indicator, color dot transparent, unfocused indicator, color dot transparent, focused container, color dot transparent, unfocused container. Okay, here unfocused container. So unfocused indicator, color dot transparent. So these things we will need to use to make this as a transparent. And again I am going to use some shadow like 4 dp. 2 dp is fine. Some rounded corner shape of 20 to feel better. Okay, cool. And follow this, I am going to use some background of color dot white. Looks better. And we need to add some more spacing. For this I am going to use modifier, padding overall 20 dp, some vertical alignment to make this center vertically, and there is 4 more spaces. For this I am going to use padding of start. Let me add 16 dp. Cool. And finally here we are going to list our all the data. For this I am going to use a lazy column with it takes the remaining space of full max size and has the items. So vertical arrangement as spaced by each item, spaced by let's say 16 dp. For this I am going to add one item here which is in the card view of text. This is task 1 for example. Let me add something like modifier dot padding horizontal 20 dp, fill max width, takes the remaining space, and it gives the inner padding of 16 dp. No, inner padding of text to 16 dp. Great. And finally we have something like colors, called default, something called default dot colors, container color is color dot white. To distinguish this we need a shadow. For this I am going to add something called the elevation, called default dot elevation, okay, card elevation I'm going to use something like 8 dp. This looks a better view. We can add some padding of 16 dp on top line, and followed by each item it will be look like this UI. So let me jump into the final part. We can use the main screen. I'm going to use something like bag data by remember. Remember is used for maintaining state variable which can recompose here. Remember mutable state of list of something called string. Just going to input this. By option enter or alt enter. Now I'm going to add text by remember mutable state of empty string. So we are going to use this text here. Text equal to IT. On addition of this, I'm going to add text like data dot data plus text equal to empty. So it's just adding into the list this text. So let me run this. For this I am going to use item index of data index task. I'm going to use the task here. That's it. Looks cool, right? So this is the major part of this tutorial, and there's another feature like swipe to delete functionality which can be implemented, and you can see that the task is getting appended to last. So before going to use this, I can just reverse here. This will resolve this issue. So now I'm going to be swipe to delete functionality. To add this, I just need a composable with a delete background, which will be the case when we swipe this case. So it will be look like red color, right? For this, I'm going to check the state as swipe to dismiss box state. If state dot direction dismiss direction equal to swipe dot box state value dot end to start. If I swipe from end to start, in this case only I'm going to update the color. Cool. And for this compose, I'm going to use a box with the icon, and I can use something like delete icon. If I am using icon, we need to use content description. For now, I just give null and something like padding I'm just giving end padding at 16. So this box must be something like padding something horizontal of 20, background of this color, and what else, content alignment, it moved towards the right this here delete icon. So I just using center end. After this, some padding I can use like 16. As per this, same as this UI, I'm going to use like this. So background state is ready. Now we focus on our swipe container. So for this, I'm going to use composable function. It's a generic operator. We can use anything like swipe to dismiss container. This is a generic functional. It can be any type like string, data class, and all. So I'm just going to pass any type of items and on delete functionalities. And animation duration. This is something has animation, right? So I'm just going to add animation duration. Let me say 500 milliseconds and something like composable. So these and all is going to used by me. And there's a key like remember of mutable state of false. When is removed functionality is executed, then only we need to remove the entire item from the list. So let me have this as thing, and we need to initialize some state like remember swipe to dismiss box state. It has few values like confirm value change. The value change is confirm, then we can check with this direction end to start. If he swipe from end to start, then only we need to use this. Something like removed is to true, else false. We can use only equal to here. State also we have this. And what else is there? We need to use the swipe to dismiss box as a default function. Swipe to dismiss box. Need to pass state, background content. For this we have written the delete background. What else is there? Modifier enable dismiss from end to start, true. And here is the content. So this function will execute this removing part. And where we need to add that removing part? After removing, we need some animation to move the items towards top, right? So for this, I am going to ask if is removed some vertical movement animation. So I'm just going to add exit la shrink vertically with the animation spec mean of something like animation duration. This is for 500 milliseconds going to animate. And after this, I'm just going to add a shrink towards where when we remove this going to top. So alignment dot align dot top. And also some other animation like fade in, fade out will be good. Fade out. So when we remove the item, it just goes into some animation and finally it will remove this. So once done, we need to add this removing functionality. When is removed is triggered, if is removed is true, then we can delay that much second of animation. and we can remove on delete of item. Cool, right? That's just about this. So we can just going to use this container here only. It will be something like we just wrap up here. We need to pass in some variables like item, here in the case task. On delete, we're going to delete something. Animation duration 5, composer of something. On delete, we are going to delete the data equal to data minus 18. We are going the item. And what else is there? Yeah, hope it makes sense. And let me check out code. Yeah, this has few more issues, like we need to use background fill max width, and also we need to use something like key concept to remove the redundancy data. And each key is mapped with a unique value. Let me run our project. If I add something like hello gym task 3, and I can now remove this with animated visibility. And few more cases is there. If I again just add gym, it will give the red background because I just passing with the key, unique key matching with the string. So for this, it's a completely optional part. I am just going to use some data class with my task val id long equal to system.current milliseconds and val item equal to string. Now I'm just going to, this is my default parameter on add the list of my task data my task of item. Okay, and add the icon button, something like add the I just be a my task of the item. Here it takes its default of current milliseconds, which is a unique value, so it won't cause some issues. So now I'm going to use this here, task of data of this item. And before running this, let me add the unique case id because it cannot be same as I'm using current milliseconds. So let me run task 1, enter task 2, again I am going to use task. After removing this, I'm going to add task 1. Yeah, hope this issue is resolved. Now the app is working fine.